Why do you so often find yourself saying or doing things you later regret? It's because reacting is driven by impulse, while responding is guided by thought. When you react, emotions take the wheel. When you respond, clarity does. Training your mind to pause before acting turns tension into understanding and mistakes into mindful choices, helping you remain in control no matter the situation. I, Napoleon Hill, have learned that true strength isn't shown in how quickly you react, but in how calmly you respond. When you choose to pause instead of explode, to think instead of lash out, you gain power over yourself. Because real control isn't about others, it's about mastering your own mind. This is the power of the pause. There are moments in life when everything seems to happen at once. Someone says something you dislike. A situation turns against you. Pressure rises in your chest, and before you even think, words spill out or actions fly forward. Later, you wish you could take them back. This is the trap of reacting without thinking. It feels natural, even automatic. But there is another way, a way that lets you control the moment instead of letting the moment control you. That way is the pause. The pause is not hesitation or weakness. It's the moment you give yourself to reclaim your power. When you pause, you create a small space between what happens to you and what you choose to do next. In that space, your mind settles, your breath returns to a steady rhythm, and you see the situation for what it truly is. Without that pause, you are driven by pure emotion, anger, fear, pride, or hurt. With the pause, you're guided by choice, not impulse. Learning to pause changes how you handle people, challenges, and even your own mistakes. It gives you the chance to ask, what response will serve me best in the long run? You stop letting others dictate your next move with their words or actions, and you start deciding for yourself. The pause becomes a shield that keeps you out of needless arguments, reckless risks, and careless mistakes. At first, it takes effort. In heated moments, your mind will want to react instantly to defend itself or prove a point. But with practice, the pause becomes part of you. One simple way to begin is to take one deep breath before you speak or act when you feel tension rising. That single breath gives you more control than you might imagine. In that breath, you remind yourself of your greater purpose. You remember that not every battle is worth fighting, and not every comment is worth answering. Imagine a person in a meeting hearing unfair criticism about their work. A quick reaction might mean raising their voice, defending themselves sharply, and turning the room tense. But if they pause for a single breath, they might instead say, "Could you explain what you mean?" That calm question shifts the entire moment. The conversation stays open. They appear confident and composed, and the criticism might even turn into useful feedback. The pause made that possible. The pause also protects you in personal situations. Friends, family, or strangers may say things they don't fully mean, especially in their own moments of frustration. If you react instantly, you add fuel to their fire. If you pause, you give space for both sides to calm down, often leading to understanding instead of conflict. Over time, the pause becomes more than a moment. It becomes a habit. You start noticing how quick reactions often create bigger problems, while calm responses open doors. You see your relationships improve, your decisions grow wiser, and your energy spent on regret shrink. The power of the pause lies in its simplicity. It takes only seconds, but in those seconds, you choose who you will be. Will you be ruled by emotion, or will you guide yourself with thought? That choice is always yours, and it begins the moment you decide to pause. Choose your emotional state. Life will bring both calm days and stormy days. You cannot control every event that comes your way, but you can decide how you will meet it. This is your emotional state, the inner ground on which you stand. Some people let the world choose it for them. If something pleasant happens, they feel good. If something unpleasant happens, they feel bad. Their emotions rise and fall like a small boat in rough waters. But you have the power to choose a steadier course. Your emotional state shapes how you think, speak, and act. Stand in anger, and you'll see problems everywhere. Stand in fear, and you'll hesitate to move forward. Stand in calm confidence, and you'll see solutions more easily. That's why choosing your emotional state is one of the most important skills you can develop. You are not just at the mercy of feelings that appear suddenly. You can guide them. You can choose a state that serves you, rather than one that works against you. This doesn't mean pretending nothing is wrong when trouble comes. It means refusing to let trouble decide who you will be in that moment. Loss, disappointment, or unfair treatment can sting, but after the first wave of emotion, you still have a choice. You can choose patience over anger, hope over despair, focus over confusion. That choice changes what happens next. One way to do this is to pause and ask yourself, What emotional state will help me handle this in the best way? The answer might be steady determination, quiet understanding, or even lighthearted humor. Once you decide, take a deep breath, straighten your posture, and act from that place. Over time, this becomes a habit. You'll find that your chosen state comes to you more quickly, even when life surprises you. Picture someone walking to an important meeting only to face an unexpected delay. They could give in to frustration, muttering under their breath, and arrive tense. Or they could decide to stay calm, using the time to collect their thoughts. The delay doesn't change, but the outcome does. In one case, they arrive flustered. In the other, they arrive confident and ready. The difference lies in the state they chose. Choosing your emotional state also affects how others respond to you. People naturally trust and follow those who stay steady under pressure. A calm presence can turn an argument into a discussion and a tense room into a cooperative one. Your state becomes an anchor that keeps you and others from drifting into chaos. This skill grows stronger the more you use it. At first, you may only remember to choose your state in small moments, a short delay, a minor misunderstanding. But as you practice, you'll start applying it in bigger challenges too. And with every choice, you take back more control over your life. No matter what happens around you, there is a space inside you that belongs only to you. That's where your emotional state lives. Guard it, choose it carefully, and it will guide you through every storm. Focus on the end goal, not the distraction. On the journey toward anything worthwhile, distractions appear at every step. Some are small, like an unkind remark or a sudden inconvenience. Others feel heavier, like unexpected problems that demand your attention. The danger isn't the distraction itself, it's losing sight of where you're going because of it. Many waste their energy fighting every small obstacle, forgetting their true purpose lies ahead. A clear goal acts like a guiding star, but if you keep turning toward every irritation, you start walking in circles instead of moving toward that star. A sharp comment, a temporary setback, or a minor mistake can feel urgent in the moment, but if you let them pull you into reaction, they drain the energy you need for what truly matters. The key is to ask, does this bring me closer to my goal? If the answer is no, it doesn't deserve much of your time or emotion. This doesn't mean ignoring real problems. Some challenges must be faced directly, but even then, you face them while keeping the bigger picture in mind. You choose actions that solve them without losing your forward momentum. That is the difference between reacting and responding. A reaction is all about distraction, while a response is guided by a clear goal. Picture someone working hard to build a small shop. One day, in the middle of the market, a customer leaves a harsh comment. The owner could react by arguing loudly, letting the entire day sour. Or the owner could take a breath, listen for any truth in the words, and then turn their attention back to serving the rest of the customers well. The first path wastes both time and reputation. The second strengthens them. The shop's success depends not on winning every small argument, but on keeping the larger mission alive. When you train yourself to keep the goal in sight, you stop pouring energy into things that do not matter. You become less concerned with being right in the moment and more focused on reaching the place you have set for yourself. This kind of focus builds patience and discipline. It also protects your peace because you no longer feel the need to chase every passing problem. Sometimes distractions come disguised as opportunities. They may look exciting, but if they pull you away from your main direction, they can be as dangerous as setbacks. Before taking on something new, ask yourself if it fits the path you are already walking. If it does not, you have the right to say no, even if it is tempting. The road to your goal will always have twists, turns, and unexpected stops. You cannot control the path entirely, but you can control where your attention goes. Let the small things pass by like clouds and keep your eyes fixed on the mountain you are climbing. Every step you take with your goal in mind is a step toward success. Every moment spent on a distraction is a step away. Choose wisely, because your future will be shaped by what you give your energy to. Train with small challenges daily. Strength of mind is not built in grand moments of victory. It is built quietly in the small tests life gives you every day. The ability to respond instead of react is like a muscle, and a muscle grows stronger through regular use. If you wait until a great crisis to practice self-control, you will find yourself unprepared. But if you train in small matters, you will be ready when the larger battles come. Every day offers you moments to practice. A long wait in line, a change in plans, a delay you did not expect. These are not just inconveniences. They are invitations to strengthen your patience and discipline. Each time you face one of these moments without snapping or complaining, you add to your store of inner power. You may not see the difference immediately, but over time it becomes clear. Think of a person who wants to grow strong in body. They do not lift the heaviest weight on the first day. They begin with smaller ones, allowing their strength to grow little by little. The mind works the same way. A slow-moving cue, a meal that takes longer to arrive than you hoped, a sudden request when you are busy. These are your smaller weights. Use them to train your mind to stay calm, clear, and steady. Imagine someone ordering food at a busy shop. When the order arrives, it is not what they expected. A quick reaction might be to speak sharply, letting frustration spill out. But if they see this as a training moment, they pause, speak politely, and have the mistake corrected. They keep their peace. The worker keeps their dignity, and the day moves forward without harm. That is a small victory, but small victories prepare you for larger ones. This kind of training shapes your habits. The more often you choose patience over irritation, the more natural it becomes. Soon, your mind begins to slow down in tense moments without you even instructing it. When something big happens, an argument, a failure, a sudden change, you will already have the skill to respond with thought rather than react in haste. Small challenges also teach you about yourself. You begin to notice the triggers that make you lose patience and the thoughts that help you stay steady. You start to see that control over your mind is possible even in uncomfortable moments. This awareness gives you confidence, and confidence strengthens your ability to handle whatever comes. Training with small challenges is not about being perfect. There will be days when you react before thinking, but each time you remember to practice, you take another step forward. It is the steady, repeated effort that matters. Over time, you will look back and see how these little moments prepared you for much greater ones. You will realize that the discipline you built in quiet, ordinary situations is the same discipline that carried you through storm. That is the gift of daily training. It makes you ready, not just for today, but for every challenge ahead. Turn setbacks into strategy. Every person meets obstacles on the way to their goals. It does not matter how careful your plans are or how hard you work, life will still send you moments that push you off course. Many see these moments as signs to stop. They believe a closed door means the journey is over, but there is another way to see it. A setback is not the end. It is information. It is a lesson pointing you toward a better path. When you encounter a setback, your first feelings may be disappointment, frustration, or even anger. That is natural. But after that first wave passes, you have a choice. You can keep focusing on the problem, feeling defeated, or you can step back and ask, what can I learn from this? That simple question can change your direction entirely. It shifts your mind from dwelling on the loss to planning the next. Every setback carries something useful. It might reveal a weakness you can strengthen. It might show you a mistake you can avoid in the future. It might even guide you toward an opportunity you would not have noticed otherwise. The key is to treat each problem as a teacher instead of an enemy. This does not mean you must enjoy difficulties. It means you refuse to let them waste the pain they cause. If you have paid the price of going through a hard moment, you might as well collect the wisdom it offers. Picture someone who has been preparing for months to win a major agreement with another business. On the day of the decision, they are told the offer has gone to someone else. A quick reaction might be to feel insulted, complain, or walk away bitter. But a strategic response would be to ask for feedback, study what the winning offer had that theirs lacked, and adjust their approach for the next opportunity. The first choice ends the road. The second choice builds a better road. Turning setbacks into strategy also changes how you feel about challenges. Instead of fearing them, you begin to meet them with curiosity. You start to wonder what lesson might be hidden inside. This mindset keeps you from becoming stuck in regret. It also gives you more courage to try again, because you know that even failure will bring you something valuable. A useful habit is to keep a simple record of the challenges you face and the lessons you take. Over time, you will see patterns. You might notice the same type of mistake appearing again, showing you where to focus your growth. Or you might see that certain strengths helped you through different kinds of trouble, proving that you already have tools you can trust. This way of thinking does not happen overnight. At first, it may take effort to look for the lesson when you are still feeling the sting of the loss. But the more you practice, the quicker you will recover from disappointments. You will waste less time in anger or self-pity, and instead use that time to plan your next. In the end, setbacks will visit everyone. The difference between those who stop and those who succeed lies in the way they respond. One lets the obstacle block the path. The other uses it to build a strong. That choice is always yours. Master your self-talk. The words you speak to yourself shape the way you see the world and the way you see yourself. Long before you speak to another person, you have already spoken hundreds of times in your own. These quiet thoughts have great power. They can lift you up or pull you down. They can fill you with courage or drain you of all hope. This is why mastering your self-talk is one of the most important steps toward guiding your life in the direction you want it to go. Many people are not even aware of the way they speak to themselves. They carry on a silent conversation filled with doubt, fear, or harsh judgment. They tell themselves they are not ready, not capable, or not worthy. Over time, these words take root and become beliefs. And beliefs are what drive actions. If you believe you cannot do something, you will either never try or give up quickly. But the same is true in the other direction. If you believe you can, you will find ways to keep going until you succeed. The good news is that self-talk can be changed. You can choose words that build you instead of break you. This begins with paying attention. Listen to the voice in your mind as if it belonged to another person. Ask yourself, would I speak to a friend this way? If the answer is no, then you should not be speaking to yourself that way either. When you catch yourself saying something like, I always fail or I'm not good enough, stop and replace it with a better truth. You might say, I'm learning, or I have handled hard things before, and I can handle this too. At first, these new words may feel strange, but with practice, they will become natural. Imagine a person faced with an unexpected challenge at work. Their first thought might be, this is too much for me. If they believe that thought, they will likely approach the task with fear and hesitation. But if they train their self-talk, they will stop and say, this is a chance to show what I can do. That small change in words changes the energy they bring to the task. It changes the way others see them and the results they create. Mastering your self-talk also means choosing words that match the person you want to become, not just the person you are now. You might not feel confident yet, but you can speak to yourself as someone who is learning to be confident. You might not feel strong yet, but you can remind yourself that every challenge is making you stronger. These words are like seeds. If you plant them daily, they will grow into the mindset you need. Over time, your self-talk will shape your habits, your choices, and your entire way of living. You will face the same difficulties as before, but you will approach them with a different spirit. You will find it easier to respond with thought instead of reacting with fear, because your mind will already be trained to speak to you with calm, steady guidance. The voice in your head is the one you will hear for the rest of your life. Make it a voice that supports you, encourages you, and reminds you of your worth. When you master your self-talk, you master the foundation on which every other success is built. Create space before decisions. Some of the worst choices are made in moments when everything feels urgent. A question is asked, an offer is given, or a problem appears, and the pressure to decide quickly rises inside you. In such moments, it is easy to speak or act before truly thinking. Later, you may wonder why you agreed to something that was not right for you, or why you refused something that could have helped you. The answer is often simple. You did not give yourself space to decide. Creating space before making a decision does not mean avoiding responsibility or delaying forever. It means giving your mind and emotions a chance to settle so you can see the matter clearly. When your thoughts are clouded by pressure, excitement, or fear, your view of the situation becomes narrow. In that state, you may choose what feels good in the moment instead of what serves you best in the long run. When you take time, even a short pause, you can ask yourself important questions. What are the possible results of this choice? Will it help me move toward my larger goals? Will I still feel good about this decision tomorrow, next month, or next year? Such questions are almost impossible to ask when you rush. Sometimes creating space is as simple as saying, I will give you my answer tomorrow, or I need to think about this for a while. This is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of wisdom. You are showing that your choices are not made by impulse, but by thought. Consider a person who is offered a partnership that promises quick gain. On the surface, it looks like an easy yes. But if they give themselves space, they might discover that the deal comes with hidden costs. Perhaps it would harm their reputation, pull them away from their main purpose, or tie them to people whose values they do not share. Without that space, they might accept and regret it later. With that space, they can protect their future. Creating space before deciding also protects you from the influence of strong emotions. Anger can push you to say things you do not mean. Excitement can lead you to overlook important details. Fear can cause you to miss good opportunities. By stepping back, you give yourself time to let the first wave of feeling pass so that your reason can guide you. The habit of creating space is especially useful in conflicts. When you feel the urge to answer sharply, pausing for even a few breaths can change the outcome. In that pause, you can choose words that keep the door open for understanding instead of closing it with anger. Over time, this habit becomes a natural part of your character. People will notice that your choices are steady and thoughtful, and they will learn to trust your judgment. More importantly, you will trust yourself because you will know your decisions come from clarity rather than haste. Life will always place you in situations where quick answers are demanded, but you always have the power to give yourself the gift of space. That space is where wisdom lives.